Happy January 2017. It's the new year and it promises to be a big one, a good one, a great one. And when I thought about New Year's resolutions that I wanted to do for the Essential Temple, I thought that I really wanted to educate more. So you may have noticed that there are several classes in January already scheduled. I've got more coming up in the following months. But another way to educate is to talk more about the oils themselves and how they can support us and our families. And I wanted to really get started this month with the promos. So we're going to go through the oils of the promos because the January promo is huge. Like, huge. I was a little bit irritated because December 31st came around and usually they put out the promos and I could get all excited about it. And New Year's Eve, I didn't need more excitement, but I still wanted more excitement. And so when they released them January 1st, I kind of forgot about my irritation because they are freaking awesome. It's a huge power-packed bundle at the 300 PV, at the 250 PV, even the 190 and the 100 PV. It's a pretty awesome bundle, and I found that there was some oils that I didn't necessarily know a whole lot about, or some oils that were a little bit weird. Some people were asking me about basil and why would that be on there. And I wanted to share with you some of the different ways to use them and what they can help support, because there's more than just cooking that can be done with basil. So first off is Citrus Fresh. So Citrus Fresh is an ER bonus oil for the 100 PV. This is a 15 mil, it's a 5 mil that you will be getting, but it's really exclusively just for ER members. ER is the Essential Rewards Program. If you are not already in the Essential Rewards Program, definitely take a look at it and consider it for 2017. It's a really easy way to earn more oils or products or supplements. Every order that you put in on a monthly basis, it is a monthly requirement. You have to have 50 PV, that's all it takes. We all know that 50 PV is not very much when it comes to the oil obsession. But it is a requirement, a monthly minimum of 50 PV. And it ships out on the day of your choice. We can definitely talk more about that. Please send me a message if you have any questions about ER. But Citrus Fresh is an ER only oil. So if you order 100 PV and you are not on the ER program, you will not get a Citrus Fresh. And I wanted to make that clear because I didn't want somebody to go, why did I not get the Citrus Fresh? It's an ER bonus oil. That being said, Citrus Fresh is made of tangerine, grapefruit, lemon, mandarin, and a hint of spearmint. It is our go-to for a fresh scent in our house. We use it in laundry, on the wool balls, for linen sprays. When we clean, we actually mix just a little bit of it with some water. If we want to put in the diffuser, all the time. Citrus Fresh and rosemary is one of my absolute favorites. Citrus Fresh by itself is a really clean scent. It uplifts the mood. It's almost instantaneous. When you take a little sniff of Citrus Fresh, it's an almost instantaneous mood boost. It's also very uplifting, and it's also good for the mental boost as well. I know that there are times when we're studying or we're looking at projects, trying to make my to-do list on the weekends. I usually do a little bit of Citrus Fresh right out of the bottle because it gets me going, it gets me energized, mentally focused, and a little bit uplifted towards the length of the to-do list as it goes longer and longer and longer. And Citrus Fresh does come in Vitality. So if you get kind of bored like I do after a while with lemon in my water, Citrus Fresh is a really good alternative to that. It tastes more like peels than fruit. I know lemon, it's cold pressed from the rind, but it still has the lemon flavor. So Citrus Fresh to me tastes a lot like what I would imagine an orange peel and a lemon peel and a mandarin peel tasting. It's not bad. It sounds weird, but it's not bad. So if you're bored with your lemon in your water, try Citrus Fresh. It's a totally different citrus taste, and it's really good. You should try it. And the one thing I do want to also notice or mention about Citrus Fresh is the fact that it is photosensitive. If you are new to oils, photosensitivity means that it can increase the sun's effect on the skin. So you want to make sure that you're not putting lemon or citrus fresh straight on your skin and then going outside into the sun, because it can increase the potential for a burn. And I've had that happen myself, and it's not fun and it's real. So use your citrus fresh. I like to use it on my face as an astringent, but I use it in the evening before I go to bed. So citrus fresh, the 100 ER exclusive oil. Moving on to the 190 PV. Now, you do not have to be in the ER program in order to qualify for this oil. This is a 190 PV, so any order over 190, including a quick order or an ER order, qualifies for Eucalyptus globulus. Now, eucalyptus is one of those oils that I get a lot of questions about. There are over 700 types of eucalyptus, and it makes it really confusing. Thank goodness Young Living only offers 3, but those 3 are really, how do you decide what to use? How do I know what it supports? How do I know which one to put in my diffuser? Eucalyptus globulus is the best for supporting respiratory issues. I don't know if that's compliant or not, but if you're picking up my hint, Eucalyptus globulus is great for supporting the respiratory system, especially if you, need to support that particular action. I feel so silly. Anyways, it is the best for respiratory support, and it is also really good for after workout, supporting your aching muscles. I know a lot of our resolutions are to get back into our shape, get back into health, exercise more. Eucalyptus globulus can also be found in Orthosport. This is a little bit worn out because my daughter uses this constantly. It's about Orthosport time in my house because softball season is about ready to start, and Tiana's a pitcher and she pretty much lives on that during the season, on that shoulder. So eucalyptus is not only great for respiratory support, but also good for the muscles. It is the highest level of eucalyptol that you can get in the oil. So this one is the highest level of eucalyptol, which means that it's irritating to the skin if you use it over and over again in the same spot. It does have the potential of being irritating to the skin, so you want to make sure that, one, you test it just like you test all other oils before you use them topically. Use them in a small space or on your body to make sure that you don't have a reaction to it. But it can be irritating if you use it over and over again in the same spot. So if you were to put it on your chest a lot, it could potentially be irritating. Make sure you dilute it down with some coconut oil or another carrier oil to make sure that it disperses easier for the skin. The way I use Eucalyptus globulus is I make shower fizzies, just baking soda vinegar. There's a ton of recipes. I can even put one down below if you'd like, the one that I use. And I just put 3 to 5 drops of it and I throw it in my shower. If I'm too lazy and I've ran out of shower fizzes and I still need to have the support in the morning to kind of clear myself up, I'll just take a wet washcloth and put some drops in there and throw it in the shower as well. It's a refreshing shower, and when you leave the shower, you're able to breathe a little bit easier and definitely supported that respiratory system to the max. Let's talk about basil. So the cool thing this month, which has not been done in the past, is they threw in a bonus ER oil. So again, you will only get this oil if you are on the ER system, the ER program. If you have any questions about the auto ship and the Essential Rewards program and how you can earn points and incentives by participating, please let me know and I would be happy to share with you. But basil is an exclusive extra bonus oil for the ER program at 190. The Greeks refer to basil as the king of plants. I refer to basil as the stinky oil. It's really bad. It's good if you cook with it because it really does taste great as a basil. I've used it on my caprese salad as just an extra bump when I bought some basil that didn't really taste that strong. But my son, Johnny, he likes to make the worst smelling diffuser blends he can think of. And basil is always in it because it does not smell that great. To me, does not smell that great. So I find it funny that it's considered the king of plants to the Greeks, and I'm like constantly going, Johnny, don't touch the basil, don't touch it. But basil has a lot more than just cooking and smelling bad. It is great for aching muscles. It is actually one of the prominent oils in the raindrop technique massage because it has the ability to help with the aching muscles, and it's also great for mental fatigue. Now, I've not tried this before, but it's one of the things I'm going to try this year, this month, maybe this week, because it's been a long weekend. I'm sure it's been a long weekend for you guys too. I read that if you put some basil on your temples or on the tips of your nose, it has a really good mental clarifying, mental fatigue fighting ability. Not sure if I want to smell like basil, but I do want to test it out. You know me, I like to test my oil. So it's definitely, if I run into at the grocery store and I smell really bad, just know that I'm testing out the basil mental fatigue option. And I will report back to you. It is also, I did not know this, you can also use basil on bites. It soothes the itching and it soothes the irritation. So next mosquito bite I get, I'm going to try a little bit of basil, something I would have never ever considered and something I really learned. And one of the most incredible things I learned about basil is I know that we have spoken lots of times about the emotional impact that oils can have on us. So if you are like me and you start a project like this little video here, and you start having a little self-doubt, you start feeling like you aren't going to trust yourself and the amount of babbling you're going to do in front of the video, and nobody's going to watch it and nobody's going to learn anything, basil has the emotional component of re-energizing self-doubt. So I'm going to do this on a whim. Just thought about it right now. I am going to, in the middle of this, oh yeah, re-energize my self-doubt, re-energize my distrust in my ability, and use basil on a more emotional level. If you are also somebody who distrusts your plan and stops in the middle of your projects because you have no energy left, you've basically just talked yourself out of it, try basil. Yeah, try basil. Moving on to the 250 level of the promotion is Joy. Now this is not an ER exclusive. This is any order over 250 will get a bottle of Joy. It's the full bottle, the 15 ml. It's a big dog. Everybody who knows me knows that I am not a big fan of Joy. It smells very floral, like you walked into a room of 500 geraniums and lavender and ylang-ylang and bergamot and rosewort and lemon and mandarin and jasmine and Roman chamomile and palmarosa and rose into a room with 500 of them. And it's a little overwhelming for me. I know that there's people who love Joy. They wear it for perfume. It is a huge heart oil. And by heart, I don't just necessarily mean I heart you. It makes me feel good. It uplifts me. It brings me closer to connections. It's also a really good heart oil. Ylang Ylang has some ability to promote the cardiovascular system, and so does bergamot and geranium. So it actually powers a pretty big punch, not only on the emotional level, but also on a physical cardiovascular level. I read off all those ingredients because that's all what's in Joy. Very, very floral. Have I meant floral? I know people who live on this. They love it. I challenged myself to 30 days of using Joy and I failed. I couldn't do it. If you are not a floral lover, I'm going to try it again. If you are not a floral lover, try putting Joy on your feet. It's an easy way to get the benefits of the oil but not having to smell it. So I am going to start putting Joy on my feet. It's one of my resolutions for 2017 is to really work on uplifting. I tend to be a little more negative. I want to try to be more positive. And Joy is going to help me with that on my feet. Let's talk about the 300 level. The 300 level is awesome. Peace and calming. Don't have to be on the ER. Any order at 300 level will have a bottle of Peace and Calming. Now I have to tell you, I'm trying not to be just a little bit miffed off, but during the 12 days of Christmas, I bought the Peace and Calming 2 because in my mind, I'm thinking this Peace and Calming is never, ever, ever coming back. I might as well break down and get the Peace and Calming number 2. I know it's a little bit more patchouli based than the original formula, and I'm not a huge patchouli lover, but Peace and Calming 2 has to be better than no Peace and Calming at all. And then 2 weeks later, they do this huge flash. Peace and Calming's back. Peace and Calming's back. Of course, I got one. I now know what all the fuss is about. I really, really like the smell. It is tangerine, orange, ylang ylang, patchouli, and blue tansy. I thought there was spearmint in it. I smelled spearmint, but there's no spearmint. It's a little minty to me, but it's definitely worth the hype. Now I have Peace and Calming 1 and Peace and Calming 2. Definitely prefer the Peace and Calming 1. I do know a couple people who like the Peace and Calming 2 better. They definitely like the patchouli smell better than I do. This oil has been referred to as moms as the tantrum oil. It is great to be used on toddlers or children who tend to get really active, overactive, hyperactive, need to kind of settle themselves down for the nighttime routine. I've heard that diffusing Peace and Calming in a bedroom before you send your kids or yourself, not saying it's a kid-based oil, I'm actually going to try it myself tonight, can really slow down the thought process and the insomnia that comes with just being too hyped up and not able to simmer down for bed. It's also really good for deep relaxation. It's good for meditation. It's good for spiritual meditations and increasing your spirituality, increasing your mood, uplifting. It's, interestingly enough, is also good for teeth grinding in children and adults. I've got a couple teeth grinders. It drives us crazy when we're in a hotel room. Brendan can't sleep because all he can hear is the grinding. So I'm looking forward to trying this to see if maybe this will help my kiddos in the middle of the night. It's also really good for, I've heard, bedwetting. If anybody is battling that particular battle, we've been there, we've done that. I wish I would have had Peace and Calming to try, but it was out of stock. But if you are looking for somebody or you know somebody who struggles with that, Peace and Calming has been known to help with that as well. Now, I do not have helichrysum. Helichrysum is not something that is any of the recipes that I have looked at or I've used, but I knew that it was out of stock a lot, and I knew that it must be really good for something if it's out of stock a lot. So I did my research this morning. Helichrysum is supposed to smell sweet, kind of fruity. I hear there's a lot of people on the fence. A lot of people love it. A lot of people don't love it. It's one of those like it or love it kind of smells. It is really good for muscle discomfort. It is one that is used a lot by people who need to support their muscles and their injuries. It's also really good for circulatory support. I'm excited to get it because Sammy gets nosebleeds a lot. It is also said to be able to stop nosebleeds. It also has I don't know how to compliantly put this. So it also is supposed to be helpful in repairing tissues and repairing nerves. So if you have a condition where you have nerve or tissue disorders, this is an oil you might want to start looking up and researching now. It's obviously in stock, but I'm not sure it's going to stay in stock for the whole entire month. It's a pretty fabulous oil when I started reading about it. So if you have anything nerve or tissue related, definitely start doing some research on that to find out how helichrysum might be able to help with those issues. But the interesting thing is not only does it repair tissues and repair potential nerve, it is also an emotional block releasing oil. So on the emotional level, heliochrysum has the ability to break down the barriers of an emotional issue you have and help you work through the block, especially when it comes to the giving and receiving of love. So if that is something that you struggle with and you know in your heart that you want to be able to work on that, heliochrysum is an oil that might benefit you. And those of us who came to the feelings class last month, can attest to some of the healing and emotional aspects of some of the oils. So I'm excited to try heliochrysum. I want to smell it. Am I gonna love it? Am I gonna hate it? And two, I can't wait to have some on hand to share with people who need it for some of these incredible reasons and to stop Sammy's nosebleeds. And that is the promotions for 2017. If anybody has any questions, let me know. If you have any ways on how you use some of these oils already, please comment below, and we will hopefully see you soon. We have a class coming up on treating symptoms, not your systems. No, I have that backwards. We have a class coming up on treating systems, not symptoms, and I hope to be able to give a lot of education on that. We have an oily open house. I've got a Facebook coming up, so keep your eyes open for more education. If there's something specific that you would like to have some knowledge on, let me know and I will do my best. Happy New Year!